For heat welds, you will need a hot air welding tool, also called a heat gun, with a pencil tip nozzle. Either a standard speed or urethane nozzle, depending on the flooring. A hand groover and spare blades. A trim knife and a trim plate. You will also need a straight edge. You should never substitute the urethane nozzle when working with a urethane finished flooring unless the nozzle manufacturer says it is safe for this type of finish. Otherwise, permanent damage to the finish will occur. Here are some tips before you start. Make sure you fully read the Welding Thread TDS so you are completely familiar with the product and process. It will contain additional information not necessarily shown or mentioned in this video. Practice on scrub material before trying this on installed flooring. DFT is not required for heat welding unless you need to complete your seams the same day. The urethane nozzle can also be used on unfinished flooring and is a way to minimize or eliminate the gloss a standard nozzle normally creates at the seams. Some of our flooring is too heavily embossed to be properly heat welded, and these are noted on our welding thread list. This next demonstration will show the use of the standard speed nozzle and glazing of the welding thread. The standard nozzle only requires the gun be preheated to between 650 and 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Grooving is performed the same for both nozzles, including the groove depth. Pay special attention when grooving embossed flooring like what is shown, as the embossing adds extra material to be grooved. The embossing will act like speed bumps for the groover, but a constant depth should always be maintained. After inserting the thread into the nozzle, push the thread and nozzle into the groove. Keeping the bottom of the nozzle parallel to the flooring, apply slight downward pressure and move the gun at a steady speed along the seam. The standard nozzle can be moved faster along the seam than the urethane nozzle, but avoid going too fast. The shine at either side of the seam is normal and expected when using this type of nozzle. After letting the thread cool to room temperature, it can be trimmed. Skiving is performed the same, but with embossed flooring, both the trim knife and trim plate will ride along the top of the embossing. Be careful with the angle of the trim knife during the final pass, or you might damage the embossing. For embossed flooring, the thread will have a slight lip since it can only be trimmed to the top of the embossing. This flooring's thread requires the extra step of glazing. This is done by using the heat gun and nozzle, positioned about 1/8 to a 1/4 inch above the thread. The distance and temperature can be adjusted to avoid scorching or damaging the flooring. Glazing serves two functions. First, it reseals the welding thread, helping to prevent soiling. Second, it helps bring back the color, so the thread will better match the flooring. Additional shine may occur beyond what was already present, but any shine from the heat welding process will diminish with the application of finish and over time through general maintenance and use of the flooring. Once you have finished glazing, the heat weld is complete. The majority of our flooring now uses thread that does not require glazing. You can check our welding thread list to see if the thread you are using requires this extra step. Please contact us if you have any questions.